Hello internet and ladies and gentlemen, today we got some topic to talk about. Let's take a look at the new characters. We got Ninfoniel, we got Batsby. They've been out for like a week or two now, and it's time for us to take a look if they lived up to the hype. And if you're smart and you haven't pulled them yet, is it now time to actually commit and pull them, right? Or should you save for a potential next character? Which, you know what, we'll actually start with a conclusion. I actually think it's safe to skip. But only if, like, it's safe to skip these two characters, but only if you've got your PvE stuff set up already. Now, for me, I pulled Ninfoniel, have not pulled Batsby yet. I'm not pulling Batsby. And listen to my thought process, right? Now, Batsby and Ninfoniel, they're both actually pretty good in general now in PvE. Not quite so PvP. Yes, Ninfoniel has the unique double attack buff, but the lack of, like, push for your team means it's kind of hard to set up a cleave for besides just one shot. But even if you do that, you still can't one-shot Bloodbath, so fire. I'm probably not going to be using her too much in PvP. You can certainly try, though. Like, I fought a couple of them in RTA, did not lose to Ninfoniel, so let me just say that. And yeah, for Batsby, the issue is you also just don't do enough damage. Or, you know, he dies too easily as well. That's the issue with him in PvP, at least. He's also certainly weak against controls, and control is one of the archetypes we're going to see a lot. And, you know, stuff like holding could also just reset him and boom, it's done, right? So you can cleave them with Batsby, or you could also just cleave them with Messiah. If you want to cleave with a DPS anyway, Messiah, ignoring like any whole yens, better than what a Batsby could bring to the table, right? Which is why you're not going to see too many of him in PvP at least. Now, I'm not speaking as if like, you know, I just know. I'm speaking as if I've checked the data. Right, I've scrolled through all the top 100. I've seen 0 Ninfoniels, 0 Batsby as well. Maybe 1 or 2 rare personnels are trying stuff with them. But, you know, for me, I've seen 0. Because the superior DPS is still someone like Messiah. The superior healer is always someone like Sonya. Ling Lord, the superior buffer is always utilizing stuff like Tsukiyomi. You just get an attack buff and then just one-shot your Suki's really fast and pushes someone up. And you can also go for Lily, and it's what a lot of people is trying. Also, a couple of Mios here and there as well, right? So not a lot of Ninfoniels. In fact, there's no Ninfoniels, at least in top tier PvP. I've only ever fought Ninfoniels. Haven't met a singular Batsby, no Ninfoniel, even in like the common realms of plat, right? Not a singular one. So I think it's safe to say in PvP, we are not seeing them too generally. So where are they good at? Now, before we continue, appreciate Etheria for sponsoring today's video. Use my link in the description to download the game. It'll help me out a ton. And yeah, probably not gonna be a lot of edits for this video because it's 4:15 in the morning. I am going to jump off a roof and break my own kneecaps to stay awake, but it doesn't stop me from providing you with some content, right? So let's talk about Ninfoniel and Batsby, where they're good at. We mentioned where they are not really that much used in, which no one speculated that they're good in PvP anyway. I personally speculated that they could be used in PvP. You could think about it, but the main point will still be in PvE. And official Etheria Start has marketed this version's of banner, right? This version's banner to be good and helpful in Rengokutsu. Is that right, ladies and gentlemen? Let me actually cook up the stats for y'all. All right, let's just filter. We'll start with Ninfoniel because this is the, you know, likely to be good in Rengokutsu one, right? So as we filter this, a lot of you don't even know like you could do this, but if you go to rankings, you can filter animes. It's pretty fire for you. If you want to like know what account, what team in your account could like work. But yeah, here's Ninfoniel. In Rengokutsu, you realize not everyone has 100% win, right? Some teams has it, right? Teams like these, and usually you are just using her as a buffer, the double attack buff for your DPS to just like nuke down the boss in a one shot. So if you want to like take a look at it, all of them have very low duration, right? So if like you can use any DPS as well, which is great. Now I would love to check someone's clear out. Let's check Heron's clear out. This is going to be a one shot. It's speculated that Ninfoniel is going to help players that's already endgame. They have really good stats, really good speed tuning and everything to clear this faster. Not even necessarily safer, because here you go. You got the double attack on Deeding. You need to one-shot here. And very hard. It's very hard to do the one-shot, so no one's going to be able to one-shot, in fact. There you go. You can live off of the shield. The team is already almost dying, right? So this is where, like, if someone dies, you're gone. There's no saving this. Ninfoniel does not help you escape death after all. But now that you have the other shield again, you got to tap up again. Make sure you get the turn. Boom. That's how you kill it. That is how the pseudo one-shot, where it's not really a one-shot. You can't just say one-shot the whole Rengo. It's just too bulky. But yeah, it's fast. Like 2 turns of deeding, you just kill it. 1 reset, you're done. So Ninfoniel bringing that attack buff in is very useful. This is great if you have a deeding that's already juiced up though, because look at this deeding. This deeding's cracked, okay? If you're a player that just stepped into Rengo, you want to beat Rengo, I doubt your deeding's at this level yet, but maybe you're close. But even then, I wouldn't suggest, relying on pulling Ninfoniel to be the answer. To just say, okay, I got a Ninfoniel, my deeding can kill now. Your deeding has to be good enough to a certain extent for Ninfoniel to be able to help you out. Because you just saw how, like, close that was, right? It took every ounces of damage. And all of this deeding, you realize, they're all pretty strong. Okay? This one, however, is not as strong as I think, actually. Interesting. Actually, no, I take it back. This is really strong. 300 crit damage with 110 crit rate. That is really strong, right? You're not going to see weak deedings here, unlike mine. Okay? So, that's Ninfoniel. Now, let's check if this is good, show for her, though. Because we're just going to, like, exclude Ninfoniel now. Let's just get rid of Ninfoniel if we can. How do we do it? Boom. There we go. So, now we're back. We can see a lot of Ninfoniels actually with every stat combined. This is not filtered, right? Yep, not selected. Ninfoniel is at the top used Rengo team now. That is very, very big, right? But is it just the only way that you can beat Rengo? Not quite, because a lot of people as well, me included, is using the 2-minute clear team with Lingwo, Deeding, Vice to Permataunt, and then a Claws as well. That's what a lot of people used to use, but there's still a lot of RNG with that, like, your Vice taunt not landing. But yeah, if that happens, you just die. It's annoying. And yeah, that team still exists. And I'll also say, it's good that you can one-shot, right? But I'll also say, realistically, a lot of the times, you can also just, like, rely on, like, 2-minute clears, right? I've relied on 2-minute clears. It's not like I'm missing out. I don't have enough energy to begin with anyway, especially with the 4x. You're not going to have so much energy that you have to clear fast. That's my logic, which is why I'll actually say, if you already have a team that clears like 70-80% of the time, you don't have to force yourself to build a one-shot. It's good to clear quick, but you don't have to force yourself to do it, right? If you're new, that's even crazier for you. If you're new, you want to like focus on clearing things fast. If you can, go for it. I think it's harder though, compared to just building your Ling Law, getting that heals in, getting the clear slow. It's slow, but it's steady. Okay? And, to say steady is not even steady because this is Rengo Kutsu. You could just explode for fun. That's why no one likes it. It's like, it's so hard to win consistently, right? You can clear fast, but even then, it's not like 100% win rate. All these auto battle percent, it's not 100%, even with Ninfoniel, right? But you clear faster, I suppose. However, though, in the end, I'll just say, look at this. 4 times event, right? This 4 times event, you're using 200 stability in one pop. You're gonna run out. Like, I don't think you need to one-shot stuff that quickly. Anyway, at least right now. That's my point. But in the end, let's just conclude though. Ninfoniel did her job. She helped out Rengo. They mentioned this version's banner is to help out Rengo. Ninfoniel did her job. Let's take a look at the other characters, shall we? The Batsby. And I must say, damn, there's one guy. There's one guy that's using Batsby here. I guess that works out. And yeah, for this Batsby, let me guess. You maxed everything. Ooh, you didn't even max. Okay, you maxed everything else, but not the S1. But well, I mean, it works, but you need a lot of golden lattice though, and it's only for this mode with Batsby and one other mode that I think I see any Batsby in. So M Grizzer, he's using Batsby in this mode. Yeah, cool. And then only one other thing, I think. It would be Doki Doki. So when we take a look at Doki, this is where Batsby's actually very, very popular in. If we would just do this, boom, there we go. If we filter it, we see a lot of Batsby. Okay, does that mean Batsby is broken now? First of all, let's just conclude that Batsby did not make Rengo easier. It's usable, but it's just not easier. Like, he's just a damage dealer that works there, right? It more relies on your team either being able to one-shot or being able to survive long enough, right? And that settled on Ninfoniel plus Batsby, it one-shot, right? So it's not that Batsby's good in Rengo, but then they didn't promise that both of the characters would be good in Rengo. They promised that this banner will make Rengo easier, right? That's something they have marketed before. So okay, so Ninfoniel did make it faster for a lot of, especially endgame players. And yeah, to take a look at Batsby though, not really helping out too much in Rengo. You can use it. It's just not gonna be that crazy good, right? Obviously. So where's Batsby good at? which is where we're going to be here, right? We're showing it right now. Batsby's great in Doki Doki. So if you take a look at filter only Batsby, you'll see it's a minute clear time, 2 minute, 4 minute. Okay. So if we get rid of Batsby though, you'll see 52 seconds on Rumoka, 1 minute on Rumoka, 49 seconds Rumoka, 36 seconds Rumoka, 38 seconds. Even with Messiah, you see 49 seconds. And again, you also see Ninfoniel. So Batsby's best slot should be in Doki, given it's just AoE damage. Batsby has a lot of it. Batsby should dominate right here. But well, you're not beating a rat. The rat's already strong enough. A lot of people are using it. And Ninfoniel as well in this setup is certainly better than any Freya, right? But then again, at least in my personal experience, I literally just need to put any attack buff on my Rumoka and she kills, right? Even from the start. I'm pretty sure from the start, I just needed my Rumoka to like get the attack buff. It will kill one mob. It will kill everything else. And that is for me personally. So do I need the Ninfoniel? Me personally, no. But I do think Ninfoniel did help out a lot of people. Just getting that extra attack in for the Rumoka, right? So I do think, again, Ninfoniel stocks going up. Batsby, though, I don't think he hit any issues here. I don't think he solved a lot of things. Because we click here, like the average duration for a Batsby team is not even lower than a Rumoka team. And Rumoka can also have 100% auto battle percentage as well. I assume this is win rate. Not exactly sure if it is, but if it is, well, even Rumoka teams have it too. Mine's pretty close to 100. I think I usually only win, right? Because you really just got to make sure you line yourself. At worst, you're like 90% win rate. But in the end, it's like, first of all, still, let's remember this. With the 4x event especially, you hit continuous battle, double consumption, 200 stamina. You are going to run out in like 2 hours. I've just woke up. I'm not woke up, but I just lost sleep. Did finish my work earlier. Came in this game. I'm out already, I think. Yeah, I got 5 left. I started this video like maybe 10 minutes ago. Played the game for like 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, exaggerated. 15 minutes. And then half of my redemption's gone. And I'm like 22 stabilizers. It's gonna go so quickly. So do you really need the 1 minute, the 30-second clear, for example, that you chase a lot for? You don't need to, but if it's fun for you, certainly you can go for it. Now let's check everywhere else though. If we check out here, I think we will be able to see Ninfoniel. Yep, Ninfoniel again. Attack buff, right? Double attack buff. Every mode requires attack buff for you to get like a quick one shot, right? So anywhere that needs attack buff, usually Ninfoniel would be pretty solid at. And I've noticed this. Inferno on Termaton, Ninfoniel takes the slot of freaking Lily, the potential Lily. And you can use both of them together, obviously, as well. But yeah, she is pretty helpful for players without Lily, 100%. That's pretty far. Let's take a look at Batsby, huh? There's no shot there's anyone using Batsby here. Yep. It would be good if Batsby could be used here, but you're at an element disadvantage, so that's just like all out the window. You can't really use Batsby now. What about Aurora? Let me guess. With Aurora, if we take a look at Ninfoniel, boom, you see Ninfoniel because it's an attack buff like slash. She also brings some heal, some attack buff as well. So you see her here. Along with like normal setups like with Viper plus DPS, that's a pretty normal setup. With a pretty fast setup with Rosa, pretty fast setup with like Lily as well, right? So she's very usable in situations like these. We just need a tap off and maybe even a little bit of a heal, a little bit of a shield, right? Those are all very good. Now, if you take a look at the GOAT, the Batsby, you can actually see a couple of Batsbys, right? A couple of them. So a lot of people are actually using Batsby also in Aurora. As again, just an AoE source of damage, right? AoE damage dealer. And it's just a damage dealer with sufficient support. You can actually handle this stage without much of an issue. But let's remember though, you need golden lattices to a certain extent, right? So, in my personal opinion, unless you're just like Batsby, I would rather you put the golden lattice on someone else. Just me personally, right? But is Batsby terrible? No. I'll have to say, actually, Batsby's good in Aurora as a DPS, good in Doki Doki as a DPS, terrible in Termaton, obviously. And then in Shell, as for Shell drops, Rengo, he doesn't help. And anywhere else, I guess it's more like, you don't need to use Batsby at all, but if you want, you can, I guess, I'm sure. No Batsby here. Ooh, okay. Sharon, obviously no Batsby because element disadvantage. And at that point, it's like, no one can't beat Nico, so it doesn't even matter if you put if you're gonna put Batsby for Nico, yo, what you doing? Okay, so to compare the both, let's just like talk about a final verdict now. Who is worth pulling for? Is it even worth pulling at all? Right? I'll actually just straight out tell you, I think Ninfoniel is still the winner. I think she's actually worth pulling. Batsby, I'm gonna say it in my truthful opinion. Let's make this a civil discussion as well. You can let me know in the comments if you think I'm completely mistaken. I think Batsby is most certainly skippable. I think it's guaranteed that he's skippable if you already have your PvE stuff set up, especially Doki and Aurora, which I think most people have already cleared these two specific ones before they even touch Rengo. Right? I think those two are like actually easier. I think like the hardest difficulty spike would be in like Doki Inferno. The moment you hit that, I think you're already at the level where you can clear Termaton. You can also clear Aurora once you finish building a couple more characters, right? So do you need Batsby for you to progress there? Not necessarily, right? But you know, he can get the job done for those two dungeons at least specifically. But me personally, I would just rather, you know, stick with other options like Real Mocha. I do have Real Mocha. Some people don't. So if you don't have Real Mocha, you only have this person that's reliable to like clear stuff quickly in Doki. That is understandable. So to pull him for that reason though, I feel like it's still kind of iffy, right? And then for the case of Aurora, I think a lot of people would just rather stick with the Deeding. Because Deeding, you just build one Deeding, he can beat all the shell modes, right? Every shell dungeon, Deeding can handle. Deeding can handle Termaton, Deeding can handle Aurora as well. So Deeding, being a purple character, if anything, is still, I think, best value for money. So if you can get him, you don't really need a damage dealer for only two modes in PvE, mainly being Aurora and Doki and Batsby. My honest opinion. But does that mean you should just skip Batsby? If you think Batsby can progress your account even, then I disagree. If you think Batsby can progress your account by a lot, definitely go for it. But yeah, overall, I think Batsby is an easy skip for me. And especially for people that already clear like the endgame modes for PvE. Even if you have like a flimsy one, like a 60% win rate one, I wouldn't suggest going for Batsby. Would I suggest going for Ninfoniel? Actually, yes. I think Ninfoniel, not just right now, for the future as well. Any mode that you want to clear fast for the attack buff, Ninfoniel will be actually pretty fire. Right? Should be pretty useful just with a double tap buff, some sort of healing there as well. And yeah, for Batsby though, first of all, it's element dependent. Obviously, right? Like, if you fight a green person, a green boss, instantly he's unusable. So I don't think he's worth breaking a bank for. You can try and go for it. Unluckily enough, though, I didn't manage to get both. I usually always get both because I can and there's no pity. But for this one, I'm like 20 or 30 pulls in Batsby, and I couldn't get him. And thank God as well, because after people test him, they realize, hey, he's good in some PvE. I've not seen a singular Batsby in PvP. I think I've seen one shared by a friend, and then he still won against that. But yeah. Final verdict, though, is this a W, a banner? I think it's W just for Ninfoniel, but Batsby's there. Alright, Batsby's there. Is he horrible, unusable? Absolutely not. So in the end, credit where credit's due. I think they have decent ideas behind these two characters being released. Not perfect, definitely not perfect, but it's decent at least, right? They want Ninfoniel being potentially really good for players to clear faster in Rengo, especially. And Ninfoniel instead actually not just helping out Rengo, she helps out everywhere now, right? Like, she can help out everywhere. She's going to help a lot of players, a lot of accounts like progress as well. I think Ninfoniel's fire. Batsby, though, on the other hand, I think is the lack more to be desired part of this banner. And yeah, I don't think it's horrible, at least, okay? He's got his place, all right? But definitely not as good as I would have thought. In PvP, though, well, you can use them. I rarely ever seen them. Not in the highest of ranks, not in the casual ranks of Plat. So let me know if you're using them to really insane success, which I do doubt because the meta is still more bloodbathy with healers or controls, right? All of which Ninfoniel and I guess Ninfoniel can provide double tap buff, but still you can't kill bloodbath stuff, I think, if the enemy's good enough, right? With like good enough investments. And Batsby just dies to a lot of dots, and he might not even kill if he's at an element disadvantage. So that would be pretty bad. And that will be all for my take on these two characters. I mean, if you do agree, have a civil discussion, right? I'm happy to see what your opinions are. Not a lot of edits for this one because it's 4:30. I would love to have edit, like, do a usual showcase as well, but you know what? We'll do more of those starting next month. I'm still, like, finding editors and such. I think a couple of you contacted me via Discord. Hopefully that's the case. But You know what? We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully you guys still enjoyed this Yap Fest though. Have it in the background while you eat or whatever. Maybe you'd like to see this. Beautiful. Jawline. But that'll be all. And yeah, take care.